Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. If you want to move your life forward, you have to have a thing called resilience. And I know it's just a word, but once you figure out what that word means and you practice it or realize that I've got resilience, I bounce back, life starts moving forward. And with that, there is something called a resilience routine. I've never heard of that. We're going to learn about that today from somebody who helps people move their life forward all the time. And this is individuals, leaders, CEO, could be a C-suite executive, doesn't matter. We need help to move life forward. And she's an amazing coach. Denise Krumlian is back with us. How are you today?
Hello, Steve. Great to be here. Very well. I'm just back from Spain, so I'm very excited to talk about this topic.
Ooh, okay. So this is you went to a retreat in Spain along, with other stuff. Um, what happened there that inspired our topic today about resilience?
Mhm. So went for this work retreat, which is all about coaching and helping coaches to focus on the competencies of being. I'm gonna just say thank you to my master coach, Jennifer Powers. It was an amazing retreat. And what came out of it, there was so much more than just focusing on being a coach, but it was an opportunity for introspection and really learning more about myself and what I need personally as well as a coach. So that's why I thought it would be good. And just having the time, just taking this time for myself. I didn't think I could. It was hard to say yes to going away for 8 days. And really, it's exactly what I needed. And that's where coming back, I feel more refreshed. I feel energized and ready to move forward with my business and the other aspects of my life.
I'm going to pivot for 5 seconds.
Hmm.
I just got back. It was a last minute thing, a workcation. It was with a coworker that had a place on the beach in Florida. He just, rented it. Like, I'm here if you want to hang out. I'm like, I have not gotten away in so long. I need it bad. And I just went. And to your point, wonderful. And I had all these lofty goals of books to read. It was only 3 days, 3.5
Yeah.
days. All I did was stare at the ocean. Morning to night, like a monk. I would get up, chair on the deck. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. Look at that. Look at that. There's a rainbow. There's a triple rainbow. Not kidding. Saw a rocket launch. And did you feel, because that has been calling me for months.
Hmm.
Did you feel that Spain was calling you?
Yes. Well, Spain and travel in general do call
That's what
me
I'm
a
saying. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that you allowed yourself to do that, because that's the thing is a lot of times what we need and what we allow ourselves to do are not the same thing. So kudos
Yeah.
to you for taking that time you needed.
It wasn't easy. There was guilt involved, but as soon as I came back, and again, it was only 3 days, I was online. Airbnb, what do we got? Let's let's rinse and
Oh,
repeat. And I don't care if anybody's around. I just want to go and just for a peace and that just to collect thoughts and tranquility. And yeah, sometimes you don't know until you know. But
exactly.
then it's also, you do know. That's my belief. We all know. We all know. It was probably inside of you saying, Denise, you got to go. This is something you need to do. This is going to be good for you. And sometimes, family life, job, all that gets in the way. And sometimes you need to move that out of the way and just get it done. So that comes into resilience. I
Mhm.
believe having that knowing that you've got that strength. How do you define resilience? Let's start there.
Yeah, resilience is really the ability to bounce back from adversity. So it can be a simple stressor that you're having one time, or it could be something that's going on that's a bigger trauma, or it can be just ongoing life, right? So whatever it is, it's that ability to bounce back quicker, with more ease. And so there's a lot that goes into creating that for yourself and coming back to it from a leadership perspective. It's something that as a leader, you're faced with stress every day in your work and also in leading a team. And so how you present yourself is going to support how the team shows up and the culture that you're creating as well. So that there's multifacets to why resilience is so important.
Before we get to the resilience routine,
Mhm.
how do you find resilience?
Yeah. Taking a step back before how do you find the resilience is also being aware of what burnout is, right? And wanting to prevent burnout. And so that's one of the key components of why resilience is so important. And so burnout, is when you have a repeated stress that becomes chronic, and then it can cause things in the workplace and in your life that really can lead to some serious side effects with ongoing depression, anxiety, those being the extreme, but it can be just that you're, detached from your work, that you are not motivated, things of that nature. And so really understanding the stress cycle and what that is was a huge thing for me. It was a big aha moment when I realized that, oh, I'm not supposed to be in this wheel of stress that never ends. I
Mm.
consider myself a burnout survivor, having had that happen to me, but really understanding that the stressor is only the trigger, but what happens in that cycle of your thoughts, um, then your action physiologically, what do you do? So are you a fighter, a flighter, or a freezer? And then the emotions that come with that. And the emotions are where it's really important to understand that they live in our bodies. And so if we don't do the last step in the stress cycle of coping with the stress, then you
Mm.
just stay in this loop of stress, 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 and more stress. And so the coping piece is where resilience comes in. And so it's different for everybody, but resilience really can be as simple as acknowledging the emotions and breathing through it and changing your state. So if you're in a state where you're in constant stress, like what you were talking about, and you just changed your location for a few days, that physiological shift can really help to alleviate some of the stress and have you come back being able to deal with whatever's coming your way.
Do you find that for some people there there can be an event, something major happens where they realize that, oh, things need to change, and that can be the realization to, I'm resilient. How did I do that? How did I bounce back from that situation, whatever that situation is? And then that gives confidence to continue doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great way to start understanding what you need to succeed going forward. So having a moment where you just kind of, a lot of times clients will say to me, "Oh, I just push through and I just figure it out." And that's good. And it's also what do you need to recover from that situation? So learning that, then you can apply it for the future so that you don't have to go through it to the same degree.
Hmm. Once you realize this, the resilience thing, is it like that where it's almost like I've got wings now? Wait a minute. Okay, now I, I can handle things. I can handle things once you do.
It can be an inner knowing of like that confidence, like you mentioned, of like one of my mantras is that I will always figure it out. And so that didn't come
Mm,
overnight. It was realizing that there was a series of situations where I did figure it out. And so now I might not know how I'm going to figure it out, but it's that I remind myself that I will figure it out.
mm. So the reason I brought that up is that happened to me.
Tell me.
That happened to me. Just life changed, and I was somebody who was always like, oh, well, it was just happened. How am I going to deal with that? Oh, I got that. I'm like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that? And then I had a reset. And then I realized that, oh, if you could do that, you could do this, and then that, and then this. And then I pilot by nothing surprises me anymore. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing to say that, but it's like Okay. Where it's like you used to look at it as a mountain. Now it's a speed bump. It's like, all right, we'll go over that. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I can only control the things that I can control. However, what I am controlling, um, I'm resilient about it. I have faith that, like you just said, I'll
Mhm.
figure that out. No worries.
So it sounds like your belief system changed into like, yeah, whatever happens, I'll deal with it. So that's a core belief now where you may not have had that before. So that belief system, the faith in yourself, confidence in yourself is those are key components to being resilient.
And not worrying. Like so many of us worry. I used to worry about everything, even things there was no reason to worry. I was like, now it's like, whatever. Again, we can only control the things that we can control. What we can control is how we react to things that happen. You can't control other people, and things. I hate to say it. I have a friend that calls me out on it. It is what it is. It's like by saying that, it's not a cop out or anything. It just that's the way it is. Accept it. Um, React to it as you should, and then just kind of move it all forward. So now that we've defined resilience, how do we do a resilience routine?
So resilience routine is really what are the things that help an individual, because it's different for everybody, what helps you to stay in that state of figuring things out, of allowing things to be what they are and not having it impact your emotions and you physically as well. So figuring out what your triggers are, understanding what your core values are, how do those relate to the situations that you're presented with every day, and then looking at things mind, body, and spirit. So there's usually a physical component, an emotional component, and a mind component. So it doesn't need to be, when I say spiritual, it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be religious. It's just more of like what your belief system is and really staying true to yourself.
What's your belief system?
Mm. Um, that's a really good question. My belief,
I'll tell you mine if you tell me
yeah,
yours,
yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to hear yours as well.
but you
Uh,
go first.
okay, okay. My
Listen,
belief,
no
yeah,
no judgment either, by the way.
yeah, no, this is great. My beliefs, this is part of why I love this, by the way, is that, it's like the perspectives and the sharing. It's great. My belief system is really it centers on integrity, trust, honesty, compassion, courage, love, and gratitude. Like those are my core values and beliefs. And so I try to you know, project that through how I show up every day with those qualities. Um, so for me, it's how do I stay, I think I maybe mentioned this before, how do I maintain a state of happy, peaceful, calm, and grateful as much as possible every day? And so the things that I do for my resilience routine reflect what I need to stay in that state or to be in that state and show up like
I don't want to agree, but I agree.
that.
You said it beautifully. For me, I'm not a coach. It would take me time to put those words together in one sentence, but those are the words I use, especially gratitude. And I feel a little guilty because I had my gratitude journal out last night and I had work to take care of. And then by the time I was going to get to it, it was late and I'm like, I'm just too tired. So I got to get to it today. But it's part of me. Um, but also part of my belief system is there's this thing out here called the universe
Mhm.
and it wants the best for you. It supports you. And you can define whatever you want in terms of universe. If you want to tie it to a creator,
Mhm.
divine source, whatever it is. But it's also my belief that we need to have a belief in something bigger than us in order to move our lives forward, whatever that is. Whatever you want to believe it is. I believe there's this thing called the universe, and it's good stuff out there. Um, and in my journeys, I also believe that we have everything we need inside of us.
Yes.
We have no idea how amazing each and every one of us is. There's a reason we're still here after so many years, and if you want an answer, just ask yourself, you have the answer.
Mhm.
Everything I need is within me now. It's all in there. You got it. Not easy to find that answer. There's a lot of distractions out there, and you need to believe in your answer and also your intuition. Um, Working on that, it's a work in progress. But that's kind of like my core right there.
I love that. And that's a key core principle of coaching is that the client has what they need inside of them. And as a coach, we're the facilitators and co-creative through the co-creative process of coaching, we help to just guide the clients to figure that out
Yeah.
for themselves. We're not telling them. So all these things that we're talking about in these episodes is really, it's just these are some of the key concepts, but how they apply to each person is going to be, like you said, through their own intuitive, what it matters to them.
Mm. It's funny that we seek others for help, and we need to help us figure it out. Um, but some of us are afraid, like hypnotherapy, for example. I did it. Fantastic. Oh my gosh, why did I wait? Just one modality of many that can help support us. But the belief by many is that the hypnotherapist is going into your mind and they're kind of controlling things for you. No, they're giving you the keys so you can open up your mind. That's all it is. And access certain things that are supporting you and maybe not. And coaching, I believe, is kind of the same way, making you realize, why you do what you do, how to realize your goals, give you some clarity in all of this. Um, Here we are. We have the whiteboard,
Yeah.
dry erase marker right here. We're going to write down our resilience routine. What am I writing down?
Mm. Well, I would first start by asking you, what is it that you're striving for? What would you like to achieve? So, is it a feeling? Is it, are there certain goals that you have, whether it be professional or personal or both? And starting from that place is like, what's your vision of success, whether it be on a daily, weekly, or yearly basis? And so for you, what is it that you already have in your life that's working well? What are some of the things that you'd like more of? Like, if you want to be, by the ocean more, or you want to be walking more, or, doing some kind of something for yourself, but unlocking what those things are. So is anything coming to mind for you? Do you mind if we use you as an example? Build a resilience routine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I'm, to your first point on the dry erase board,
Yeah.
I can honestly say I know what I want. Crystal blank and clear. And if you went back 4 years ago, I think I do. Now it's just making it happen or pulling it into me and finding the time to balance things to work toward it. But it's like it's amazing how clear it is. And maybe that sounds cocky.
Oh,
Whatever. It's like,
exciting.
bam, there it is, man, right there. I don't even have to explain it. I just know what it is. I
Uh-huh.
just know what it is.
All right. So you have that clarity in what you want. And so then it's thinking about what are the things that will help you to get what you want. So is it from a physical perspective, is there anything that would help you to move towards that goal and move the dial towards that goal?
Hmm. That's the challenge.
Okay.
That's a challenge. And probably for me, time management, that would
Yeah.
be one of them. And I'm sure that for everybody, that's, because I shouldn't say that. I have to do this. I get to do this over here, but it's necessary for, income and whatever. But I also need to do this over here to get to my goals.
Mhm.
So it's the balance. That would be my word, balance, balancing it
And
all out.
that's a huge point of the resilience routine is it helps you to stay laser beam focused on what matters most to you so that you can make the progress that you're looking for and that you can feel that feeling of whatever it is that you're looking for. How do you want to feel every day? So I'll just give you an example. For me, I'm looking at physical activity, some type of physical activity, move my body. I'm looking at my gratitude practice and some mindfulness, whether it be 5-10 minute meditation or something like that. Just being outside helps me, being near water. things of that
Are we
nature.
the same person? What's going on here? Like, are we the same person? Like, seriously, that's like, I say that to everybody. You need to go outside. I say it to my daughter every day, go outside, spend a couple of minutes. People don't realize how beneficial it is. These are, if I'm writing them down, I'll
Yeah.
just share, I'll take yours because that's exactly what I'm thinking. And side note, I haven't worked out in a while, just been busy and everything. And I got a text from my friend who's also my trainer, and and stuff was going on earlier this week. And she's like, see you tomorrow. We're doing an hour. And I'm like, first thing I'm thinking, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I got time for that and an hour. And I just need to say, okay. But I haven't responded yet. I
Mhm.
haven't because things are going on. I'm like, well, maybe I'll put it off to next week and then start fresh again. And I've said that for 2 weeks in a row now.
So the question that would come up that comes up for me when I hear that is what is it of value to you, right? What is it that is it truly something that supports that clear goal that you have, or is it something that is not necessarily helping you to move forward?
It's a really great question because there was a time where it was, one or two goal. And 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, I was in like the best shape ever. And it was with her. And I wanted to go back to that, still do. However, now I'm thinking of other goals. And one of those goals, don't laugh, but just what we're talking about is just quiet and peacetime.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's more important than, losing the 10 pounds or whatever. So now it's like, do you find that it changes for you? Your priorities, all of that, the stack of things. Do you find it's always changing?
It can, absolutely, and it has. There's usually what I call non-negotiables, though. And so there is like one to three, maybe. You want to keep it to a small group. You don't want it to be a long list of things because then it's no longer the non-negotiables. It's like a laundry list of things to do. But there's usually two or three things that if I do nothing else today, these are the things that I really want to do for myself in my resilience routine to help me to stay grounded, to stay happy, peaceful, calm, things of that nature. So it is that couple of minutes of breathing, gratitude, and sleep has actually become one of my other priorities that is a newer thing for me. Because I know I can be more resilient and have more restraint and respond more versus react when I have enough sleep.
We are the same person. We are. Guys, because I was intentional about that last night. A few days ago, I was away, things were going on. As soon as I came home, had a meeting late at night. The night after that was late. And last night I'm like burned by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I'm like, I gotta make up sleep. I usually talk with somebody, in the evening. I'm like, I'm talked out. I'm shutting her down. Um,
Mhm.
it's key, and we don't realize it how important sleep is. I mean, it's just one of those. Final question here: resilience routine. And I'm joking about, had a marker here on the whiteboard. Should we write these all down so there's clarity for us?
Absolutely. And I do that in my goal setting workshops. I do it in my one-on-ones. I help
Hmm.
people to actually define it and
Yeah.
then they can come back to it. Absolutely.
And I believe it's so key to work with somebody like you, even in that regard, where our best intention is, yeah, I'm going to write it down. It doesn't come out of this the way you want it to unless somebody's guiding you, like you just did with me. And, as we kind of hammered through things, and then I'm realizing you're saying the things that I would be saying, which is kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so how does it start? Somebody wants to improve their resilience or just need some coaching to move it forward. How do we find you?
You can find me on my website, denisekrumlian.com. You can connect with me on social media. LinkedIn is my primary social media channel. And I do have a contact page where you can set up a 30-minute complimentary discovery call to talk about what you're looking for. And so would love to connect. And um, I have a resilience routine checklist of questionnaire that people can utilize on my website too to get started on their own. So they don't, if they want to
Hmm.
just,
I'll be sharing that.
absolutely.
Really mean it. I share this, in whether it's on social or with friends or groups and things like that. You have Denise, an amazing way to reel somebody in. Like somebody's thoughts could be over here, and in just a few minutes, just easily like laser into it so that it's this instead of this, so somebody can easily manage and work with it.
Oh.
That's one of your secret superpowers. It really
Thank
is.
you. I appreciate that.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thanks for being here today, and looking forward next time we get together.
Me too. Thanks so much.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.